Tonight on News 5 Live, Western Dairies' new UHT milk about to give Lala some serious competition. French fries in short supply. And get ready to see some changes to food takeout containers as plastics ban Phase 2 begins. These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
In the last decade, Belize has risen to become one of the Caribbean's most popular tourist destinations. From beautiful beaches to lush jungles, vibrant cultures and people, and breathtaking World Heritage sites, Belize has it all. Hi, I'm Angela from Belizing.com, and this is the Belizing Tourism Innovation Lab project.
Don't miss the virtual launch of the Belizing Tourism Innovation Lab project on Monday, April 4th at 8:30 p.m. right here on Channel 5. Tune in and become aware of how this project will positively impact and transform the tourism and economic sectors of Belize.
If you're looking for low-cost television advertising, have we got a deal for you? Advertise on Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds is one of the most effective methods for introducing yourself and your business to the community. Use our Daily Classifieds to recruit employees, promote specials, promote your products or services, promote a business opportunity, increase traffic to your website, and advertise items you have for sale. Let us help you save valuable time and money. Call us today at 223-0146 or visit us at our offices on Pony Drive to discuss how we can help your business grow affordably. Channel 5's Daily Classifieds. Advertise today.
I am proud to be a Belizean.
I've always enjoyed the different flavors of my country. Every nook and cranny has its own unique taste.
Our history, rich with culture. We've come so far since our independence. Our flag, rivers, mountains, our people, diverse and strong.
Looking back, I am proud and honored. We must continue to preserve and conserve our culture and country for the next generation.
This is our Belize. Respect it, cherish it, love it.
While you cannot prevent accidents from happening, you can take steps to protect yourself from the financial burden that can result from an accident. Our Fungi Life Insurance Personal Accident Plan is the solution for you. With our personal accident plan, you are covered anywhere in the world. This plan pays out a benefit for any dismemberment as the benefit is paid directly to you. It can also cover the need for medical artificial appliances such as wheelchair, crutches, hearing aid, and prosthetics. In the event life is lost due to an accident, the personal accident plan pays out the insured amount to the beneficiaries. Now, you can live with the confidence that we have you covered. Let the RFNG Life Team assist you in planning for your future. Call us today at 221-5143 or visit our website at rfglife.com. RFNG Life Insurance, the Life Company.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Wednesday, March 30th. I am Sabrina Daly. Today, history was made in Spanish Lookout. An ultra-high temperature processing plant was officially inaugurated in Belize and will allow for the local dairy production industry to further develop. Agro-producers and high-level government officials, including Prime Minister John Briceño, was present for the momentous occasion. News 5's Dwayne Moody files this report.
Watch out Lala and Dutch Lady milk, because there's a new locally produced UHT milk that's hitting the market. The Western Dairies management in Spanish Lookout has made a $2.3 million investment in an ultra-high temperature processing plant that will give its dairy products a longer shelf life.
Today, March 30, 2022, it is with great honor that we can say that this promise has been fulfilled as we officially launch the operation of our ultra-high temperature processing, the UHT facility. This ultra-high temperature process allows us to re-engineer and modernize our plant and to provide the Belizean public with yet another milk product. Milk that is 100% natural, with up to 90 days shelf life, storage conditions that do not need refrigeration.
Let me congratulate Western Dairies for this milestone. I can still remember the early days of batch pasteurization or low temperature long time at 155 degrees for 30 minutes, and then the graduation to high temperature short time HTST, which was for a shorter time period and also more efficient at 161 degrees for 15 seconds. And now, fulfillment of a long-standing dream, ultra high temperature pasteurization, UHT, at 280 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 seconds, but one that goes in special packaging.
Nobody wants to buy milk which spoils within 3 to 5 days, if not refrigerated. So consumers prefer imported milk over the locally produced milk because of the UHT component. In Belize, there are some 290 plus milk producers across the country, 7 processing companies, and now 1 UHT processing plant. It is a bold move from the country and the industry that can now contribute to the local $35 million demand for dairy products.
This industry will grow. We have 20 million to grow. Our imports are 35 million worth of dairy products, and we only produce less than half of that, 10 million. So we have 20 million to go. So this is definitely the opportunity that farmers will have to invest more. As a matter of fact, the potential for dairy farms in Belize is tremendous. The reason why it hasn't grown because it was restricted to only what can be processed. But now we can grow. Nothing stops us except the quality of our product. So now we have to work on enhancing the quality of cheese. And I'm certain that we can do that also.
And there are opportunities to tap into the regional CARICOM and SECA markets. News 5 has confirmed that there are already moves to supply Belizean UHT milks to Grenada. Prime Minister John Briceño says that today's launch is historic for the country and the future of the industry.
By opening up new markets, for instance, right here with with Western Dairy. They already are looking at the market in Grenada, and then from Grenada move to the rest of the Caribbean, where we can sell our milk, or chicken, or pork, or other products. We have to be able to push our products into CARICOM.
The demand for milk in Central America is growing. For example, El Salvador, they import a lot of milk, right? So we are looking at these Central American countries and CARICOM. Once we are able to finalize the quality, the shelf life, the potential is there for us to grow.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
If you've been unable to get fries with your fast food and it is being substituted with fried rice, it's because there is a shortage of imported fries. Today, Agriculture Minister Jose Abelardo Mai confirmed this with the media and also said that there has been a shortage of local produce itself in Belize due to a disease that affected more than half of the crop.
Well, we had a very bad crop in potatoes this year. Probably like 60 or 70% was lost to a disease which apparently came in the seed, I'm being told. But we are now out of local potatoes. We are going to import fresh potatoes. But there is also a shortage of fries on the world market, right? I was supposed to get a report this morning on the reason for that, which I will get and report to you back, but the reason for this. But we have right now authorized the importation of fries, right? Of course, it has to be managed, especially when you're harvesting potatoes. But if you're not harvesting potatoes, it should not be a problem, right? But there is a scarcity right now on the world market. I am being made to understand. The reason I will find out later and report back to you.
An increase in fuel prices has a rippling effect on the price of commodities. The impact is no different on the agriculture sector. While as a country we are self-sufficient in corn, other grains as well as fertilizer are imported, and the acquisition of costs goes up with the hike in oil prices. Agriculture Minister Jose Abelardo Mai speaks about the impact.
Well, it's not only fuel prices, but the post-COVID shock, right? The cost of ocean freight has gone up by 300%. The cost of goods has gone up another 80%. This morning I was explaining on Open Your Eyes, and I showed them the facts. Our research shows that all these commodities have gone up, plus gouging. I had already anticipated to Cabinet and to the public that chicken was going to see a raise. That once corn goes up, chicken goes up, egg goes up, right? Now, and that is because we are self-sufficient in corn. We don't import corn, right? But the fuel has an impact in that. And now, we're not an island. So if the price of corn goes up in Guatemala or on the road, it will go up here too, right? Not because we produce corn, it won't go up. It will go up, maybe not as high as the country will go up. For example, these CARICOM islands that are net importers of grain. Can you imagine they importing corn? Their prices will go up, far higher than ours.
Fuel prices are at a record high at the pumps, threatening the livelihoods of many. The cost of living is going up even higher, with 60% of the country already in poverty, even before COVID. There is need for relief, and GOB has been in dialogue with private and public sector leaders to determine a way forward. One recommendation coming out of those meetings is the creation of a fund to put a cap on fuel prices that will guarantee that, despite changing world oil prices, the effects won't be felt by consumers. Prime Minister John Briceño explains how this process would potentially work.
Many people in the industry want to have certainty. They want us to be able to cap fuel at a price and keep it at that price. So if the price goes up, then we're looking at setting up a fund from where we can get out to be able to pay the taxes. And then when the prices goes down, they keep it at that price until we can pay off the fund. So we hope that by next week, Tuesday, we had a long discussion in Cabinet, and now we've already once again asked now the Minister of, my ministry, Agriculture, Transportation, and Tourism to sit down and to try to come up with a right formula as to how we're going to be addressing that.
There is a report of alleged conflict of interest being made against Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance, Chris Koyi. The information is that Koyi and another minister have acquired a license from Phoenix Capital Limited and are operating in the banking sector in Belize in a limited capacity. The banking license was discovered under the previous central bank governor that is, Gustavo Manuel Vasquez, and has raised eyebrows. Today, PM Briceño said that the company was operating under the previous administration and that as the substantive Minister of Finance, he sees no conflict of interest.
The facts are is that they open up, they have a company that was operating under the UDP government. The UDP government approved those licenses. And when the former governor, Manuel Vasquez, found out about it, because apparently it was not, I probably wasn't, to try to explain it as best as I possibly can, when he found it in a different file where it would not belong, in some filing cabinet. And so then he started to ask about it. And then he was told and he found out that there was nothing wrong. It was straightforward. There's absolutely nothing wrong. And it ended as that. So the former governor, that has nothing to do with his stepping down as the governor of Central Bank.
So, but do they have the license for the Phoenix Capital Limited?
I don't remember what's his name, but they do have a sort of limited financial license. What if it's a bank? I don't know. I don't want you to quote me. But yes, they've had this from the UDP days. So if there was a conflict, maybe you should have talked to Dean Barrow back then.
But Chris Koyi is the Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance. No, he wasn't back then.
He's the Minister of State. I am the minister and I am responsible. So at the end of the day, if there's something wrong, you hold me responsible, not Chris Koyi.
At its first opportunity to interview the PM since Shine Barrow was elected as the new leader of the United Democratic Party, the media asked for his reaction to the razor-thin victory. Prime Minister John Briceño was curt in his response, saying it doesn't really matter.
I wish him well, and I think I want to leave it as that. I don't want to interfere in their internal politics, and let's leave it as that.
Sir, but do you feel that with Shine as the leader, because we know in every democracy we need a healthy, a strong opposition, do you feel like with Shine as the leader we'll get that?
That's a fair question, sir.
I've answered you.
Coming up, the budget debate continues this time in the Senate. Details when we return.
Digi, the premier name in voice and data, is also the country's leading provider of innovative services and solutions for small business and enterprise. At Digi Business, we offer solutions, tools, and applications to support your business needs. Reduce costs, improve efficiency, and excel in a changing world where no idea is too big and no task is too small. From technology advising to design implementation and management, our team of qualified solution sales and specialists can develop a reliable and robust infrastructure, allowing you to spend more time on what matters most, your business. Visit us online to explore how DigiBusiness innovative products and solutions can help your business reduce costs and improve efficiency.
Towering above us, they give us oxygen and food, tools and shelter, and create some of the most biodiverse habitats on Earth. As the biggest plants on the planet, trees are important for life. In fact, research shows that within minutes of being surrounded by trees, your blood pressure drops, your heart rate slows down, and your stress levels plummet. In Belize, we are blessed to have 60% of our national territory under forest cover and nearly half of our national territory safeguarded in the form of protected areas. Protected areas are safe havens that preserve our forests and jungles of Belize from mass destruction and extraction. or as it's known, deforestation. And as Belize's population increases, it's opening a gateway for unsustainable rural land use. Logging and farming also significantly contributes to deforestation. We need healthy forests, as they absorb carbon dioxide and other harmful gases from the atmosphere. So without them, the rate of climate change accelerates and greenhouse gases in the atmosphere increases. Without forests, soil would wash away, leaving behind a barren wasteland where no crops will grow, forcing farmers to move on and repeat this destructive cycle elsewhere. Like kidneys, trees control the flow and use of water by catching rain and slowly releasing it into rivers and streams or into groundwater below, which protects us from flooding. As the heart and lungs of the world, trees power and sustain ecosystems. They offer habitation both above and below the ground to numerous insects and bigger animals alike. By providing food and shelter, Belize's forests and jungles support life and rich biodiversity. Without trees, what will be left of our jewel? We must work together to combat the unsustainable use of land and illegal logging. We encourage you to preserve existing forest ecosystems and to support protected areas. A message from APAMO, the voice of Belize's protected areas.
The Senate met today to debate the national budget that was presented and debated last week. In his presentation, the leader of government business, Senator Eamon Courtney, described the government's performance during the last financial year as prudent stewardship.
New grants and capital revenue outperform estimates. The projected outturn, as set out in the revenue estimates, is $1,192,000,000, approximately 19% higher than was budgeted. On the expenditure side, the recurrent expenditure of $1,217,000,000 was slightly higher than budgeted. Madam President, on any measure, on any reckoning, that is prudent stewardship by the Honorable Prime Minister and the team in the Ministry of Finance. Let us not forget, Madam President, let us not forget the historic blue bond negotiated by the People's United Party and concluded by the People's United Party. It was this government, history will recall, that vanquished the super bond that was a noose around our collective necks for far too long. It was this single brilliant blue bond transaction that caused our public debt, the public debt of this country, to move from 133% to GDP to 108% of GDP. 25 percentage points, Madam President. Every Belizean should be rightly proud of that historic achievement.
While Senator Bradley acknowledged the government's efforts to cut back on spending, he highlighted a few areas where he thinks the outlay is still excessive, particularly in terms of salaries.
We're still, in certain cases, in my humble opinion, overspending when we need not be. I would just mention a few references. Page 60 of the budget, under the Office of the Prime Minister. Number 50, grants to individuals. This went from $45,000 to $1.6 million. On the same page in the Office of the Prime Minister, number 30, personal emoluments, from $953,146 to $1.6 million, an increase of $700,000. The Ministry of Finance, page 75, number 230, personal emoluments, from $34 million to $64 million. Ministry of Finance, item 350, grants, increase from $5.2 million to $27 million. The point that I'm making here is that there has to be the political will to rein in spending. And I only give examples in the budget. If you look through every section of the budget, and I must confess that I am not a technical person in terms of looking at the budget. I see the figures, in my mind, an increase from 5.2 million to 27 million is an excess. I may be wrong, and I'm conceding that I may be wrong.
Senator Bradley also noted several areas where he believes GOB is not getting value for money in the new budget, especially since the wage bill has actually increased rather than gone down by $30 million.
I went through the Prime Minister's budget speech in detail, and I noticed certain things highlighted in there that are very sobering in terms of our fiscal position. In a portion of the budget speech, the Prime Minister, the Honorable John Bersenio, made the point quite plainly that of the budget, $704 million, or 62% of the budget, or 62 cents out of every dollar spent, is spent on wages and pensions. I see my learned friend, Senator Cowie, writing, and I start to be corrected because I'm not a math man as he is, but in terms of the budget speech, I saw that reference. There was a reference in the same section that spoke about the expenditure for goods and services, $384 million. And the speech mentioned the comment that there was only a small amount remaining, roughly about $134 million for capital investments. That struck me as a person reading this budget speech, for me to appreciate, notwithstanding any political party, PUP or UDP, as a Belizean in terms of our fiscal realities, that we spend a significant amount of the national budget, and probably rightly so, on the wage bill and on pensions. And so I think it is incumbent for us to appreciate that, for us to appreciate the impact of that, and for us to recognize that there has to then be a huge priority on getting value for that money. Government has to prioritize public sector reform. We have to look at areas where individual Belizeans get value for that significant chunk of the national budget. That's a significant part of our overall spending. It has been that way for a period of time. I note in terms of that section of the budget speech, the Prime Minister mentioned increases over the last administration and this administration in relation to what would have gone on and what he would have inherited. I only want to point out here that when one looks at the numbers since the last election, and I stand to be corrected, the wage bill has gone up about $30 million. We continue to have a concern raised by our social partner, particularly the unions, about the impact of contract officers and the impact of that on the wage bill.
Before he wrapped up his presentation, Senator Courtney also spoke about people who use the law and the notion of human rights to undermine the Constitution of Belize as it relates to immigration laws and violations.
efforts, and I'm going to be clear and unapologetic. Efforts continue up until this very morning to attempt to undermine the laws of this country. People pretending that they're representing people who want refugee status. People pretending that they're representing people who should not be repatriated as the law requires. Madam President, there is a serious migration problem in this country. The Ministry of Immigration will not sit idly by pseudo human rights campaigners and lawyers who pretend that what they're doing is vindicating the rights of clients. I will say more on that at another time. Under the leadership of Gilroy Middleton, Mario Arzu, Maria Marin, and Deborah Estrada, we are making strides, Madam President, in a very difficult ministry. A ministry that has to deal with thousands upon thousands of Belizeans as well as non-Belizeans over the year. And we are trying our best to streamline and primarily digitize our processes in order to make them more transparent and efficient.
Some 38 undocumented workers from the citrus belt in the South are tonight in custody. The laborers, who are from Central America, have been working in the industry, which is in a critical state, and some say is on the brink of collapsing. The situation is complex, as it includes issues of imported labor and their improper documentation and the survival of the citrus industry. Minister of Agriculture Jose Abelardo Mai says that his ministry is looking into the situation.
And to be fair, we inherited an industry which is really in ICU. Okay, we invested right now. We have invested $15 million, or we are ready to invest $15 million, which is procured from the DFC to rehabilitate farms. The problem we're having is labor. Is that we have to import labor. That's a sad thing. When there are people saying that there's no jobs, we have to import labor. Very, very sad. Very, very sad. Now, the Department of Immigration is trying to work that out. Okay? The situation with the 35 persons, I cannot discuss that because I'm not a ministry in a department. I don't want to go down that way. But we are going to solve that problem. That is what our governments do. This government solves problems.
How will you solve the labor issue, though, if Belizeans don't want to pick oranges and already these farmers aren't harvesting the amount that they're used to?
Well, in that case, then we have to import labor, but it has to be done the proper way. Right? We cannot have children laboring in the fields, and not only citrus, in the sugarcane industry too, because you know that there are conventions against child labor and so on. Right? And so we are signatories to these conventions, and we must abide by them. Not only citrus, banana, sugar up north. So, but we do have a problem with the availability of labor in the country, right? And it's a sad thing.
Reports are that you and some other high government officials made some calls to have these undocumented immigrants released from custody.
Our calls were made to ensure that we are doing the right things, right? If taking into consideration that we are losing fruits right now, that the calls were made for us to do the right things, do the proper investigation, not to release anybody who was guilty of wrongdoings, but to do proper investigation before we accuse anybody. Many times we accuse people without the proper evidence. So our call will ensure that due diligence is done, and whoever is liable has to be liable.
The nation's agriculture sector has contributed to an 11.2% primary sector growth over the past year. The successful rebound of the economy, in the view of Senator Courtney, is fueled by the performance primarily of the tourism and agriculture sectors. The government, he said, is expanding the agriculture industry further.
Our government, after neglect and negligence, our government is renewing the citrus industry with an investment of $15 million over 3 years. That money, Madam President, is being made available through the Development Finance Corporation. And we continue to work with the farmers to ensure a lawful supply of migrant workers to reap their fruits. More than 23,000 acres are planted in coconut, and this new industry is about to abound with proliferation of fruits, oil, and water, and other byproducts. Madam President, a new coconut processing plant will soon be inaugurated under the government of the People's United Party. Indeed, under the leadership of my friend, the Honorable Abelardo Mai, the most dynamic Minister of Agriculture we have seen for decades in the tradition of the great Fred Hunter, exciting developments are also taking root in pineapple, soursop, rice, and vegetables. Madam President, we pledge to work with the farmers to develop the rural areas. We are delivering on Plan Belize. In fact, as we speak in Spanish Lookout, another fantastic investment is being declared open. The UHT plant on the Western Dairies, Madam President, is being opened right now by the Honorable Prime Minister so that we can have milk made in Belize and stored on the shelf for a long period of time. That is confidence in the economy.
After the break, the efforts to break the cycle of gang violence continues. We'll hear from former gang members after the break.
The month of March is Women's History Month, and this is what the dynamic team at the UNO gas stations had to say.
Personally, I believe it's a month to highlight our strength and resilience.
A month that highlights the accomplishment of all the women around the world.
It means something very special to me because of all my hard work and dedication, and I feel very highlighted.
It's a month to honor all the hardworking and dedicated women around the world.
My mom.
My mom, of course.
My mother.
Happy Women's Month!
Happy Women's Month!
Happy Women's Month!
Happy Women's Month!
Merece tener una conexión de internet de calidad, rápida y confiable en su hogar. Para clases en línea y trabajo desde casa, es la nueva forma de vida. DigiNet es el proveedor número 1 de servicio de fibra óptica, impulsando la transición digital de Belice. Y ahora nuestro servicio de DigiNet es aún más accesible con nuestro nuevo plan de entrada. Por tiempo limitado, tú y tu familia pueden disfrutar de 20 megabits por segundo por solamente $49 mensuales. No más clases perdidas ni reuniones virtuales interrumpidas. Te está costando mucho tiempo y dinero. DigiNet es mejor que cualquier opción de cable o servicio inalámbrico. Visita cualquier Digistore hoy y suscríbete para la conexión más rápida y confiable de Internet para el hogar en Belice. Ven a ver lo que te has estado perdiendo. El mismo servicio de fibra de alta calidad, rápido y confiable, ahora a un precio aún más bajo. Para más información, visita www.livedigi.com/DigiNet. Digi, nuestra telecomunicación nacional.
Bring color to life with Sherwin-Williams paint. Choose from matte, eggshell, semi-gloss, or gloss finishes for your home's interior and exterior use. Also, protect your wooden decks and furnitures with our top-of-the-line varnishes, wood stains, and wood preservatives. We also have primers, masonry, and metal coatings. Sherwin-Williams, available at Design Depot, all in one place.
Gwen Lizarraga High School is one of several secondary schools in Belize City that has an enrollment of students who are extremely susceptible to the influence of gangs. Its location on the south side sees young men and women from various crime-ridden communities in daily attendance now that in-person classes have resumed. With that in mind, the Leadership Intervention Unit has chosen this institution to stage an intervention. Present this morning was a former inmate, well known in the early 90s for his role in the formation of a notorious gang. He drew from real-life experiences in the mean streets of Belize City in an attempt to deter a class of young men from following in his footsteps. News 5's Isani Kayatana also participated in that intervention as a former at-risk youth who successfully transitioned away from that gang involvement. Here's that story.
Convicted of murder at age 17, Anthony Zambo Bowen was sentenced to death by hanging. He was one of two minors condemned to life in prison when the death penalty they were each handed down was commuted. Having escaped the gallows and the hangman's noose, Bowen spent 23 years of his life inside the Belize Central Prison before being released a few years ago. He is a founding member of one of Belize's deadliest gangs.
If I get stabbed in my chest, in my throat cut, there's something in my back. The fittest was the fittest. Because the way I make myself out here, being in the streets, being one member of a gang, look past someone like one OG, then I'm no OG. Then I waste of time, then just make my time harder. You know who am my OG? My ma, my pa, my brother, my sister, when me have to day up there, 23 years. Some of the people in my bring up phone.
This sobering message is being delivered to a class of male students at Gwen Lizarraga High School. As teenagers, they are vulnerable to the influence of gangs in their respective neighborhoods. Being influenced by gangs are nothing new. This has been around from the early 90s when it was first introduced to Belize. And I am fortunate, I am here as a living testimony. Whereas Mr. Gillett said that I chose a different direction, I can honestly tell you guys that I was also very much involved with gang activity from a young age, right? And I'm before you at 40 years old as a survivor, as someone who I could tell you a majority of the young men I used to gangbang with are either dead or still in prison. What Zambo, myself, and William Dawson have in common is the environment that we grew up in. St. Martin's is one of the toughest communities this side of Belize City, and navigating the perils of gang life was our reality. Today, we took our individual and collective experiences and shared them with these impressionable young men in the hope of changing their minds about gang involvement.
We are trying to create a wraparound service to support students who are in schools. We know that many times gang target young boys and girls who are going to schools, and we think that it's very important to engage these young people who are in schools to make sure that they understand that there is a support system that is available to help them get through school and through life on a whole in Belize City.
Bowen's experience as a young inmate who spent his adolescence in prison is chilling.
As one leave I when I was 16, much over 16. I come out when I 41. I never easy. You must nights and days I cry. As one leave boy, feel like I had about this thing. Anything come on and me go for it. One of the PIV founder, I had one on it. How much of my brother I could tell her why I do it right now? Now that I've been going down rotten a long time, born way too gone. I said I never did, I never did. Oh, I never did, I never did, you done dead.
It's a real existence for many of us growing up in the inner city. My vantage point as a survivor and as a journalist gives me a unique perspective on the issue of gang violence. While I'm no longer involved in any kind of gang activity, I have the job of covering a lot of the gang-related incidents that happen in this country. And it's sad and it's heartbreaking when you look at young men who have potential lying dead on the street. Henrietta Gill, a former prison officer, has also been working closely with reformed gang members. She attests that their criminal past and them having spent time in jail comes at a detriment where gainful employment is concerned.
So realize that you have got to start to think for yourself. I worked in the prison for 10 years. My good man over there, he was there and I always tell my boys, this is not your home. You can go out there and do better. These boys that come out and girls will be in trouble because they have to fill out application. I was in prison. Oh, no, we not got no job. Or come back tomorrow, leave a phone number. They never get a call. And this brings them down.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
A vessel docked at a pier in Key-Cocker went up in flames overnight, and investigators are yet to determine the cause of the fire. It happened just before midnight at Blue Wave Pier, where a cabin cruiser Bertram boat was moored. When fire officials were summoned to the location, they discovered the 38-foot vessel engulfed in flames. When they spoke with Gerald Pacheco, who owns the Blue Wave Pier, he told them that the owner of the boat was a businessman from Ladyville. He further stated that the boat had been secured at his pier over a month and a half. When police interviewed Joey Pacheco, he told them that he made checks on the boat around 5 p.m. that evening and that the vessel was properly tied and secured. The value of the boat is yet to be determined. The University of Belize, in partnership with the National Association of Social Workers, is hosting a 2-day social virtual summit. The summit is used as a platform to emphasize the role social workers play as mental health practitioners in various fields. Students and social work professionals alike are sharing their experiences to both an in-person and virtual audience. Here's a look at what Day 1 entailed inside the Biltmore in Belize City.
The Social Work Virtual Summit this is the second year being virtual. It actually began as a conference and an exhibition back in 2016. The summit is to advocate and highlight the social work profession and to highlight them as mental health practitioners as well. Right? Social workers work in different areas and different fields within the human service. Right? A lot of people don't realize the extent to what they do. Today we have a lineup of clinical social workers as well as social workers working with youths, with the elderly, social workers who work as managers of human service organizations as well. So the theme itself is the time is right for social work. Right? Now, this team is in collaboration with the National Association of Social Workers, and one of the main reasons we're doing that is, and not taking what we usually take, is the International Federation of Social Work team. But this year, we're actually highlighting a MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding, with California Baptist University. All right, so this brings about a lot of things. It can mean a master's program in social work soon to come for us, but it is a collaboration with the university, and it has been highlighted through the social work department as well, but it's with both universities.
LaRue also spoke about a pilot project being implemented in primary schools across Belize City that looks at the emotional and social well-being of students. Notably, public primary schools do not have many social workers as a part of their programs. Bridging that gap is important in addressing some of the behavioral issues we see today in the education system, says LaRue.
The need is wide. You know, we talk about poverty, we talk about trauma, we talk about abuse. We're seeing gang violence as well. So the need is very broad. However, the things that we're focusing on with the University of Belize and social work itself and our internship program is actually focusing on children. So I have a pilot project happening at the moment where we have interns being trained in social and emotional learning. Right? So so what is happening with that is that we're reaching out to primary schools. So far, we have 3 primary schools that we're working with. So this is Holy Redeemer Primary School, St. John Vianney, and St. Ignatius, and we welcome if anybody wants to, partner with us and to have this program in their school as well. This is a social and emotional learning program. So what we do, we have both in session, face-to-face, where our interns will go in and facilitate a group session on social and emotional learning. So teaching us how to deal with our emotions when it's overwhelmed, teaching us that our emotions are okay, and how do we work with that, right? A lot of the times we have behavioral issues in the classroom, and we wonder where they're coming from, all right? And we, as teachers in the classroom, they're not trained to know where is this behavior coming from, right? I want to be the center of attention. I'm that kid. What is happening at home with the child? All right. So these are some of the first steps towards doing that, promoting the social and emotional learning program in primary schools. And as you know, we do not have social workers in primary school at the moment. In any of our primary schools, we do have in private, maybe the private schools. However, our public schools there's a lack of social workers and school social workers within those.
Just ahead, price gouging is happening, especially in Belize City. Find out what the Minister of Food Security plans to do about it. But first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
March is Women's Month, and at Brothers Sabet, we're celebrating our Belizean women and their achievements all month long. Women are too often overlooked in typically male-dominated fields, but we want to celebrate the capable ladies who are breaking the bias across the board. From the women at home tackling their own home improvements to our women builders behind new and exciting projects. We want to recognize your power and thank you for all your contributions to Belize. And as a small token of our appreciation, for the entire month of March, we're offering all women 15% off on all items in store so you can keep breaking glass ceilings with high quality products from Brothers Sabet. It's a great month to be a woman and a great time to come into Brothers Sabet and check us out for all your hardware needs. Happy Women's Month, Belize, and let's continue to break the bias.
Do people actually hear from God? Are there really angels and demons? Okay, now that's just unbelievable. In our next series, we're going beyond the Google search and facing the tough questions. It's time to take on the skeptic and eliminate the doubt. From inconceivable to unimaginable, we're talking about the Bible's most unbelievable truths. Every second of this series will be worth your while. Believe it or not.
Hola usuario de eCash, la aplicación eCash está disponible en español. Cambiar el idioma de tu aplicación de eCash de inglés a español es rápido y sencillo. Déjame mostrarte cómo se hace. Primero, abre tu aplicación eCash. Introduce tu PIN. Toca el icono More en la parte inferior de tu pantalla. Selecciona Security. Selecciona Language. Y luego selecciona Spanish. Vuelve a introducir tu PIN y ya está. Tu aplicación de eCash está ahora en español y puedes seguir disfrutando de tu cartera digital eCash. La aplicación eCash de Belize Bank te hace la vida más fácil.
Get ready for fantastic discounts. From now through to September 30th, Benny's is having store-wide discounts on tools, paints, appliances, plumbing and electrical products, lights and fans, household items, and much, much more. Visit a Benny's store near you to enjoy fantastic discounts from now through to September 30th, only at Benny's, celebrating 75 years of quality and savings.
Safety is at the core of everything we do at BEL. Our teams continuously participate in training to ensure they work safely and are aware of best practices both on and off the job. We remain committed to the safety and well-being of our employees and the communities we serve while delivering safe, reliable, and sustainable energy solutions.
¿Sabías que Hospital Galenia modificó los protocolos de seguridad y prevención de salud ante la pandemia de COVID-19 para evitar contagios?
Creamos un concepto que denominamos quirófano santuario no COVID.
Hospital Galenia, más que un hospital.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
Restaurants, food stands, as well as importers and retailers may want to double-check their stock to make sure they don't still have any prohibited plastic items. That's because the Department of the Environment will be enforcing the ban that comes into effect Thursday on disposable plastic and foam cups, plates, containers, as well as plastic forks, spoons, straws, and lids. The DOE says importers and retailers who still have these items after March 31st, 2022 will be prosecuted and fines levied. In addition, they will have to pay for the destruction of these plastics or shipping back to their country of origin. Businesses are asked to email info@environment.gov.bz to report any leftover stockpiles and to make necessary arrangements for compliance with the regulations. The ban falls under Schedule 2 of the Environmental Prosecution Pollution from Plastics Regulations 2022. 20, that is. Rising food prices, especially on imported goods, has become a topic of widespread concern. Today, the Minister of Agriculture, Jose Mai, who is also responsible for the portfolio of food security, appeared on Channel 5's Open Your Eyes. He says the problem has multiple causes, but there is price gouging compounding the other challenges.
Simple response to that is that there are 3 reasons why, actually 4. Now, 4 reasons why the prices have been increasing. The first one is that the cost of goods, the cost of the commodity has increased. The second is that the cost of transportation has also increased. Of course, gouging is also present. And the third is with the new order, war in Ukraine and Russia, prices now are even getting higher. But my department, the department that I'm responsible for, which is supplies control, has done an exercise, especially in the city, and clearly there is gouging, and that has to be addressed.
Minister Mai also said that any establishment that is price gouging is compounding the inflation already being felt and treating Belizean consumers unfairly. He is taking a proposal to Cabinet to go after these merchants. In the meantime, he says any shop that does not have prices of controlled goods listed on the wall is already breaking the law.
At this moment, though, looking at the inflation, it is unfair that store owners and wholesalers implement a gouging mechanism. It is unfair to the people of this country, to anybody across the world. So we have proposed to Cabinet in a Cabinet paper that we must make amendments to the Supplies Control Act to implement and to ensure that gouging does not take place. The first thing we are going to do is to institute a ticketing system, similarly to what we did with COVID. Right?
Okay.
So instead of, so I can walk in, and you know there are many, you can break the law easily. You walk into a store and there's not a listed item. So if you walk into a shop and you see that the price of sugar is this, price of this is, that is a price control good, and it must be written on a little blackboard or on the wall of a store.
It must be on
If you
display.
don't have that, you are already breaking the regulation.
Following his appearance on Open Your Eyes, Minister Mai made a virtual presentation at the opening ceremony of the Food and Agricultural Organization Regional Conference for Latin America and the Caribbean. He also attended the launch in Spanish Lookout for the UHT milk, where he gave further details on the measures being taken to address the issue of price gouging and the offenses that will now be ticketed.
As we speak right now, the Attorney General's office is working on amending the Supplies Control Act. We are now moving to ticketable offenses. Going to a store and seeing that a merchant is gouging is unacceptable, especially in these difficult times. So instead of taking them to court and going through the all lengthy process and then 2 years after the court rules, that will not be the case.
Up next, they're back. The lovely little children and their culture days. News 5 meets the kids when we return.
Hospital Galenia cuenta con las 4 más importantes certificaciones hospitalarias en el mundo, incluyendo la certificación internacional AENOR, que avala las mejores prácticas para evitar la propagación del SARS-CoV-2 en los hospitales.
Hospital Galenia, más que un hospital.
This can be you. Get vaccinated. The life you save can be yours. This is a message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Download the SmartStream app on the Android Play Store and create your account to get access to movies and stream at home or on the go. Prepaid customers can purchase regular data packages or get a discounted rate on a special SmartStream package by dialing 7737. Postpaid customers will be billed monthly. Never miss a movie again with SmartStream.
Connecting people. Creating memories.
Hey guys, so
here we are at the Glaze Out Kitchen. I just prepared this amazing broccoli.
Sharing a smile. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
You may have seen them this morning. Belize's littlest citizens dressed up for a special event at their school. It is part of Child Stimulation Month, which wraps up this week. Today, News 5's Paul Lopez stopped by one of Belize's city preschool to see the children celebrating the diversity of Belize.
Belize is often described as a melting pot of cultures and ethnicities. Children are taught from an early age that they live among people with varying skin colors, languages, and a way of life. This helps them to better understand the world they exist in. Here at the Bethany Baptist Preschool, Principal Karen Lewis asked parents to send their kids to school dressed in cultural wear today.
Here at Bethany we have a diverse group of students. We have Garifunas, we have Creole, we have Mestizos, and so it's important that they can identify with themselves as with their ethnicity.
Principal Lewis began today's display with a demonstration on everything Garifuna, from the cultural clothing worn to the language they speak and even the food they consume on a daily basis. It is safe to say that the cassava bread, made from the cassava root vegetable, was a hit among most of the students.
Some of the things that they can observe is the language for one. Most of them come to us talking either English or Creole. But when we can say one or two words to them in Spanish, we can say a sentence to them in Spanish or even in Garifuna or in Maya, they feel, it makes them feel a part. It gives them some kind of belonging and some kind of who they really are and where they came from.
And of course, Principal Lewis gave her students a chance to immerse themselves in the lively music and dance of the Garifuna people, even though these children's moves looked a lot more like playful hopping around. With the exception of this one child, she was prepared to show off her punta skills.
Here we lay the foundation. So whatever we do here, what we did here this morning, when they move on to primary school, they're going to get the same thing, just at a higher level. But they will then be able to identify better because they had previous knowledge. So when they go to primary school, it will not be new material to them. We teach, but we teach in a playful manner. We teach and we interact. And when they interact, when they actually put their hands on and they get involved, it stays with them, because they become a part of what we're doing.
Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us. And from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.